What's going on, OG Camo coming at you? No, I think it's video number 4, part 4, or 8, 4. It's part 4. All right, I'm not professional at that. I'm just freaking clowning around. I think I know what I'm doing. Hopefully, I'll find out. I'll find out at the end of the month of my P&L if it's not 0. So, anyways, I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. Hopefully, you know how to plot out the 4 hours. If you don't know how to plot out the 4 hour zones, you gotta watch you gotta watch the video number 3, the one I just did. I think there's gonna be a link to it at the back end of this one. Should be. I'm the one actually editing these videos, so yeah, there'll be a link to the previous video and stuff like that. But that being said, let's dive right into it. So once you plot out the 4 hour zones, the next step is let's switch over to the 5 minutes. 5 minute chart. My rule, I do not trade the first hour and a half of market, so I like to put a nice little box there just to remind me, hey, don't take any trades inside here. I don't care how good the setup is, stay away from it. Once we do that, we're going to pull up our trading view here, flip over to the 5 minute chart. Now, how do we trade this bad boy? Let's see here. Let's look at some trades that I took yesterday. 2 trades actually. It was a trade right here. Actually, that's not a. I was. Hey, there's my price target. We can go and delete that. I don't need that anymore. My alert. So before I go into position sizes, we're gonna just focus on the entries. We pull this back up, kind of bounces back and forth. The A+ entries. So we're looking for a couple different things. We're looking for breakouts, we're looking for rejections, and then we're looking for John Wicks or reversal candles in those zones. Yeah, look at it, Discord over here. Teams are trading. Anyways, and that's what I'm gonna try to show you here tonight. What is a breakout? What is a rejection? And what are some good reversal candle signs? Yeah, I'm gonna bounce it back and forth. I'm not a professional, nor do I need to be a trader. I'm not trying to be a professional presenter, I guess. So the first trade that I took this morning was a breakdown and retest of my 4 hour. I'm gonna lock this. I'll accidentally move something. This is my 4 hour. Except if I went back here, 4 hour zones, and we talked about earlier, way over here. 4 hour zone, one of them in this area. What we had, market opens at right here. This is market open. So the market opened, gave us some time, and we had our first breakout of the zone. In other words, the 5 minute candle broke and closed below our zone. We set, I'm not going to do it now here, but basically we would sell position here and we wait for a retest. The candle kind of faked this out a little bit, like it's going to continue to go down. Next candle popped up. There is our retest right there. Let's zoom in on this. What do I mean? Zoom into this. 5 minute candle closed, then 5 minute candle entered this is our entry point right at the bottom of our zone. If this candle does not touch our entry point, we don't get in. We may need to adjust our zones next time, but we do not want to chase this, because I want to take a look at this. This is 47. That's almost a 10-point move right there. If you would have chased this, you would have been down 15, 20 points or so. Could have been 15, 20 points from your entry automatically. So we don't chase. We entered here, it goes against us just a little bit, and then goes in our favor. So now we're automatically 20 points in the green. If you're scalping, you can take that. If you got a big position size, you can take that. We're not doing that. So that was our entry. And check this out. Breakdown, come across, here's another retest. Here's another retest. Here's pretty close to a retest here. Like I said, we put in these zones, so it could be a little bit off. So you can consider that a retest. And then we got over here. And of course, this trade, I held it all night. I was probably asleep from here to here or so. And then it went against me. I got stopped out right here because my stop loss is usually up in here. But right now we're just looking at entries. So here's one potential entry, the breakdown and retest. Trade that I made money on this morning was here. We had I may have adjusted my zone or something. No, it was right here, 840. This was a breakout. 5-minute candle closed out of my zone. Then it was a retest. This candle didn't retest. I didn't chase it. Like I said, you get in up here and it pulls back. Now you're panicking. Oh my God, I'm down 200 bucks. I'm down 100 bucks. Well, I'm down 10 bucks. I don't know what your go for no. What is your perceived spending limit is? But we waited. We got in here and immediately it goes in our favor, and we never had a drawdown. In other words, once we entered this trade, we were never in the red because we're getting close to the market open. The market opens here. Now remember my rule. I do not enter a trade after market open, but I will stay in a trade, especially if conditions warrant. It had kept pushing up even during this consolidation period. Flat top, the bottom is still higher low, so it's squeezing up. So it is prime for a breakout. And of course, market open, it broke out in our favor. It eventually came all the way up and hit our 3-to-1 profit target up in here or so. But it's a simple breakout and retest. Let's find another one. Go back here. Here's one. This could have been a fake out. So what do we have here? We had a breakout, retest, and then dump. So we got a little loss here, but check this out. This gain. Say if you got, let's do it like this. If you took a long position off here, here's our stop loss, 3-to-1 here. So if you made that but lost this, so you entered here and it got out here, there's your gains. You still have 125 points of profit in your favor. So this one loss did not cancel out this one win. So you can have 3 or 4 of these before you eliminate one of the gains. So that's what we're looking for, A+ setups. Let's look at the next one. Oh, here's a nice juicy one, 2 o'clock. Remember those A+ entries, those candles. Tower of Power. In other words, big dump into a zone and it started exploding up. So here is a rejection. Basically, this is a retest, and once it starts climbing out of here, enter here and then just ride it. So if we look long position here, we enter here, which I got part of this. And we're looking for a 3-to-1. Yep. Look at that. I was in this when market opened and absolutely made $1,000 right there off this one trade. Trading 5 micros. but pretty simple. Came down, touched our level, and then exploded up. You're going to hold this thing we call zone to zone play. You could have entered here and just set your take profit up into here someplace and let it run zone to zone. Then it is going to take a lot of losses to cancel out this gain. Now, if you're using Top Step, no problem because it's a daily drawdown. But if you're in Apex, this would eat you alive. If you got all this and then it came back down here, you're probably going to blow your account on that pullback. So you may be a little bit aggressive when you stop loss with Apex count, but Top Step, daily drawdown, just worry about it. So this one's kind of a mess. So what do we got here? We got this big dump into our zone. Was never really a bounce, so we're not entering here. Comes down out of our zone. This could have been a retest. Then it dumped kind of again. So you may lose out here if you took this trade. But then we have a breakout retest. We enter here, and now we're in this bad boy. Another long position. Stop loss here. Now this was great about the 4-hour zones. You got a predetermined area of where your stop loss is, because why is that? If we dump below our zone and get a retest, they could continue to fall. So we don't want to be in this trade below the bottom of our zone. We'll give it a couple of extra ticks or so below our zone, but we got another 3-to-1 gain right here. Let's say we lost on this trade, but we got it back on this trade. Now we're up. This barely put a dent. This barely put a dent in our gain right here. It's 168 points you just made on this trade versus losing 56. Oh, okay, we keep going back. Let's find some more. Hey, let's see here. We don't enter anything in here because it's not off our zones. Okay, here we got nice dump. Dump through our zone, so we're not taking the entries off the top because it's dumping through it. We got a dump down, and we this probably could, but this could have been a loss depending on where you put your stop loss. Say if you're playing it down here, depending on where you put your stop loss, I usually put it a couple ticks above, so it may or may not have stopped us out for a loss here. But it did come down. Or what time is that? Yeah, 8 a.m. And of course, this is after 9 or so, so I'm going to enter it in here. But here's another touch and rejection. Here is a touch and rejection. So here's a rejection and retest, rejection and retest. Seeing a trend. Here is a rejection. Here is a dump, rejection and retest. Rejection, retest. This is the only really part of trading that you got to watch out for is these ranges, because it could. And I was in this this whole evening, and it almost stopped me out here, and then I caught a big portion of this move here. Same thing, we got breakout. Not a clean retest, so we may or may not enter here. I mean, it just depends on how fast this is going up. You may go ahead and once it opens up this wick, may want to go ahead and enter that, but it's your discretion. But just know that's going to be 1 or 2 points that you're giving the trade, and you do. I would look at it again. Long position, risk, bottom of the zone. 3-to-1. Check that out. 3-to-1 trade. How many 3-to-1 trades have I shown you already? I mean, tell me this doesn't work. It's so stress-free because you are literally getting in a trade and walking away from your screen. And my next video, I'm actually going to walk you into a trade. For that. There we go. And with that, Moji Camo, look forward to continue to share with you and possibly see you in a Team Alpha Discord, and get in there, hit me up. We'll get you trained up. Later.